This book is devastating. This book is heartbreaking. This book is haunting. It will truly sit with you. It will bury itself deep within your heart. It will enmesh itself in your ribcage. Hello, and welcome to another video. Look at this. New office angle unlocked. We're having fun today. So today on the channel, we're gonna keep it fun, keep it light, keep it chill, and I am going to tier rank all of my 5-star reads. So I'm a reader.
So I'm a boss.
I enjoy reading. I read a lot. Obviously, that's why I started this channel. But I would not consider myself to be a 5-star giver. I'm very precious with my 5 stars. Actually, based on the information from my story graph, out of the 323 books that I've logged, I've only given 38 of them 5 stars, which I think is like 12%. I don't consider that to be very high. I don't consider that to be a lot of 5 stars. And some of them, upon reflection, might not even be 5 stars anymore. These rankings go back to 2017. The person that I was in 2017 versus 2026, 9 years later, we are not the same. We're not the same, and I don't trust her. I do not know what she was giving 5 stars in 2017. So today we are going to rank them and see what's up. So let me introduce you to my tier rankings. First, in the very top tier, we have absolute literature. No explanation needed. These are basically like 6-star reads to me. They are top of the top peak literature. After that, we have, well, yes, books that I would still consider 5 stars, that I still love, but aren't reaching that top point, you know? Next, we have what the hell, sure. These are books that I vaguely remember and do remember enjoying. Can I say for sure that they are 5 stars? No, but for the sake of it, I'm gonna leave them there. Next, we have Who is This Woman? Books that I truly just don't remember at all, because I'm sure there are plenty on this list that I have no recollection of. And finally, we have Perhaps Not. Books that, upon reflection, upon second thought, I would not give a 5-star rating to. Okay, so now that you and I know the tier rankings, let's get to the screen. I'm gonna screen share. I'm gonna put myself in one of those fun little squares at the bottom, and we're gonna get into it, okay? Let's do this. Hi, I'm here. I'm in a little square at the bottom of the screen. Okay, let's look. Oh. So the first book we have is I Who Have Never Known Men by Jacqueline Hartman. Yeah, we are starting off strong. We're starting off very strong. So this is a book about a girl who is imprisoned with several other women, and she has no recollection of her life beyond basically being in this cell. And one day, all of these women are freed and are left essentially to their own devices to explore the outside world. This book is devastating. This book is heartbreaking. This book is haunting. It will truly sit with you. It will bury itself deep within your heart. It will enmesh itself in your ribcage. I finished this book and I spent the rest of the day walking around looking like the image of that taxidermied fox. Like that's truly the only way how I can describe how I felt. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Please read it if you haven't. And I am gonna go ahead and put that in absolute literature. That is where it belongs. The next book we have is My Best Friend's Exorcism by my best friend, Grady Hendrix. Yes, we are besties. We are kind of like that. What can I say about my best friend? I've read all of his books. I've loved almost all of his books, but this is the number one. When I met Grady Hendrix, I thanked him for writing from women's perspectives with such empathy and realism, and I feel like that's really captured in this book. I would say this book and the Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires are truly where that's on full display. For being a middle-aged man, Grady Hendrix can really write about the anxiety and insecurity of being a teenage girl. And then you add on to that a demonic possession, and I'm sold. It's beautiful. I read this in one sitting on a plane. I gobbled it up. And there are some really nasty scenes in this book that make you cringe, that make you feel a little sick. And what more could I ask for from my horror, really? So, I mean, once again, this is gonna go in absolute literature. Talk about heartbreakers. The next book we have is Normal People by, why did my mind want to say Colleen Hoover? That was really scary. Okay, the next book we have is Normal People by, my brain is stuck on Colleen Hoover, Sally Rooney. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I think this was the first Sally Rooney book I read, and it also devastated me. It devastated me in different ways than I, who have never known men. Connell and Marianne, the two main characters of this book, come from completely different worlds, despite living in the same small town and growing up in that same small town. Connell is basically this popular golden boy, and Marianne is this strange loner, and yet their lives intertwine in so many different ways from the time that they're in high school through university and beyond, and it made me really sad. I actually couldn't finish watching the TV series, which I think came out during COVID, if I'm not mistaken, but I couldn't finish watching it because it made me feel too insane. And I mean, just look at the relationship that Paul Mescal and Daisy Edgar Jones currently have. Like, this book and this series, meaning TV series, not like book series, this series leave like an indelible mark on anyone who interacts with it. So, I'm going to put in, well, yes. I know that based on what I said, it sounds like I would have put it in absolute literature, but it's a well, yes for me. I still love it. I still think it's 5 stars. It was incredible. But in terms of ranking, it's just a little bit lower than the first two. Okay. Me being surprised when every book on this list is good, like it's not my 5-star book list. The next book we have is Just Kids by Patti Smith. I read this book for the first time as a college student living in New York City. And let me tell you, if you are a young person living in New York City, you read this book and you are like, yep, that's me. That's actually me. Like, Patti Smith and Robert Mapplethorpe, for better or for worse, is who everyone living in New York as a 20-year-old thinks they are. And let me tell you, they aren't. I wasn't. If you're a 20-something living in New York, you're not, but that's okay. That's really okay. I just think that Patti Smith is an incredible writer. Obviously, she is a generational talent, and this book is absolutely perfect. And I actually got the pleasure of meeting Patti Smith and getting to ask her a question, and she said it was good. She said it was a good question, and I will basically carry that with me for the rest of my life. And with that, I am going to put it in absolute literature. So we're coming up on the first nonfiction book of this group, and that's The Anthropocene Reviewed by John Green. This is an adaptation of his podcast, and it's basically a series of personal essays ranking different facets of humanity and life on Earth. It's everything from the QWERTY keyboard to Monopoly to football, song, chants, ooh, yeah, stuff like that. And again, there's a common thread with a lot of these books so far, and it's that they broke my heart. And so many stories in this book broke my heart, but they also healed me. And it's really one of those books that you should read if you want to renew your faith in humanity and really feel how beautiful the human experience is. You should read this. And this is absolute literature. Okay, guys, it's time. It's time to talk about Carry On by Rainbow Rowell. Listen, we knew this was coming. I talked about this book literally in my last video. It's perfect. It's perfect. I mean, you have a chosen one wizard who goes to magic boarding school in England, and his rival is this posh overachiever. And you think, okay, like, this is sounding a little familiar, but it isn't. It isn't, because they are queer and they fall in love. And also, that posh overachiever isn't just a wizard. He's also a vampire. And what's better than that? There's actually nothing better than vampires. Well, except a gay vampire. I mean, what more do I need to say? And you know what? I'm going to put it in absolute literature. You can't stop me. I'm putting it in absolute literature where it belongs. I mean, look at this. This is my copy of Carry On. It is dog-eared, it's bent, it's nasty, it's waterlogged. I've read it several times. I've lent it out several times. And That really says all you need to know. All right, now we have In the Absence of Men by Philippe Besson. This is just a really lovely, languid book about a teenager coming of age in France and experimenting with his queer identity. And also Marcel Proust is there because it's like 1916. I don't remember that much of it. So I remember enough not to put it in Who Is This Woman? So I think we're gonna do What the Hell, Sure. Okay, and I feel good about that. The next book we have is The Future Won't Be Long by Jarrett Kobek. The best way I can describe this is tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow before tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow, but it depicts the lives of these two young adults as they go from teenagers to complete adults and how their lives intersect over the course of decades. It's not as devastating as Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. That might be a good thing for you. I think I would put this in What the Hell, Sure. I think that's where it belongs. Next, we have Bunny by Mona Awad. Love that girl, love that diva down. I read Bunny several years ago, so I honestly don't remember too much of it besides the vibe. But I think the vibe is kind of like the most important part. Like, this is a vibes-based book in the same way that Epcot is a vibes-based theme park. You know, you're not really there for the rides, you're not really there for the plot, you're just there for the feeling, really. And the feeling is confusion, the feeling is exhaustion, the feeling is muddled, the feeling is that you're going insane. And if you like a book like that, and you also like when girls turn bunnies into men, yeah, you should read this, you should pick it up. And so I'm gonna put that in, well, yes. Oh, so you thought we were only gonna get John Green representation on this list. No, that is not the case. Y'all know I'm a nerd fighter down. So the next book on this list is A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor by Hank Green. Yeah, both Greens are on here. I don't think I've disclosed this on this channel, but I was like really huge in the nerd fighter fandom back in like the early days of YouTube. And I grew up loving all of John Green's young adult fiction. Then obviously I went on to read his nonfiction. And I also went on to read Hank Green's series. The first book is an absolutely remarkable thing. This is the second book, A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. I actually thought it was better than the first. And this is about, great question. This is about technology, humanity, the future. This book made me scared. Honestly, this book made me scared because there's a very like Elon Musk type character who's essentially the villain of this book. And there's a lot of talk about the decline of society based on these technological innovations that don't really benefit anyone except for the people who make them. And I was scared, but it was also really incredible and poignant. So I'm gonna put that in, well, yes. The next book we have is Exquisite Mariposa by Fiona Allison Duncan. This is about a young woman living in LA. And I honestly think that's pretty much it. Like, she's checking her phone, she's walking around. I think that's basically the essence of this book. This, I would say I probably read either my senior year of college or the year after I graduated. That was a time when I was full of ennui at best and like depression at worst. And I was reading a lot of books about young women who were just walking around and checking their phones because I was a young woman also just walking around and checking my phone. I think I would put that in Perhaps Not. I don't think this is representative of 2026 me. Okay, I readjusted my screen recording so I could actually fit everything in. And the next book that we're going to be talking about is a legacy 5-star read, and that is Any Way the Wind Blows by Rainbow Rowell. This is the final book in the Simon Snow Carry On trilogy. Is it a 5-star read? No, it's not. It's not a 5-star read. But the second book in the series was like honestly so abysmal that this felt so good to read. Like, it felt like we're kind of doing a reset. We were getting back on track, and you know, it wraps up the series in a way that I liked and appreciated. Anyways, is that enough? Like, have I talked enough about Simon Snow? Does anyone even care about this series anymore? I really don't know. This was kind of, to me, like, this filled the like the hole in my heart that the Marauders fandom later filled. But in some ways this is even better because it's canon, you know? It's canon. So anyways, okay, all right. I'm going to stop rambling and I'm going to put this in Perhaps Not. I'm going to be realistic and put this in Perhaps Not. Okay, and next on the list we have Franny and Zooey by J.D. Salinger. This freaking book is so good. I love this book so much. If you are, entering college, you're college age, you're in college, you've just graduated college, you are in your early 20s, and I'm going to say it again, you are full of ennui, you are confused, you don't know what to do, you don't know what life is even about, really, and you're not sure if you'll ever know what life is really about, this is a book for you. So my copy is actually used, and I will always forever keep this copy because it says in the beginning, this is dated November 9th, 2002. Half of it is for the fat lady and the other half is for yourself, for the moment, for truth, for all Frannies everywhere. Quote, discovered today, this book is turning, the pages are turning, have turned yellow. Close quote. And the person who inscribed it, I mean, this was written in 2002, so I think it's probably okay to say her name, is Ella Plord, just another Franny. Like, look at that. That is girlhood. That is girlhood. I love this book so much. I'm going to put it in absolute literature. Next, we have another Sally Rooney book, Conversations with Friends. Honestly, I don't remember it. And I didn't care enough to watch the Hulu series or whatever. So with that, I have to put it in Who Is This Woman? Like, this book, despite giving it 5 stars and being a Sally Rooney book, and I tend to really like Sally Rooney books. I hated Intermezzo, but apart from that, I tend to really like Sally Rooney books. It didn't leave a mark on me. I didn't care. So Who Is This Woman? Next, we have This Side of Paradise by F. Scott Fitzgerald. This was for many, many years my favorite book of all time. Like, if anyone asked me what my favorite book was, I would reply with this. Probably from the time I read it, which was, I went through my big classics phase, like my junior year of high school through to maybe my senior year of college, maybe past that, honestly. This is F. Scott Fitzgerald's first book. I'm sorry if you can hear my cat. This is a weird book. The formatting is strange. The writing is very, very poetic. We get really flowery with this, and I think that's probably a big turnoff for a lot of people. I don't think it was commercially successful at the time of publication, and despite all those things, I love it. I love it. I love this more than Gatsby. I think it's an incredible book, and I really relate to Amory Blaine on certain levels, for better or for worse. Mostly, I think, for worse. It's basically semi-autobiographical too. And there's Minnesota representation, which, love that. I'm gonna put that in absolute literature because I feel like I have to. Next, we have Uzumaki by Junji Ito. I love Junji Ito. What's there to say? He's a brilliant artist. He's really talented. I get scared sometimes when I read his graphic novels. This is about a town that is basically destroyed by spirals in many different ways, shapes, and forms. Not necessarily too much to say beyond that. I mean, if you are into horror and you're into manga, you'll like this. If you're into horror and you're into manga, you've probably already read this, because I think Junji Ito is like the godfather of modern horror manga. Anyways, that's enough about that. I'm gonna put it in, I'm gonna put it in What the Hell, sure, because I know that there's another Junji Ito coming up that I like more. So, what the hell, sure. Next, we have Weetzie Bat by Francesca Lia Block. Talk about weird books. This is a young adult novel. I believe it's classified as YA. I read it when I was in high school, and it is about a girl called Weetzie Bat who has magical adventures with her gay best friend and her lover, who I think is called Secret Agent Loverman, and they drive all around LA and they go to punk shows and they eat hot dogs, and it really feels like a dream. It feels like you're inside a dream when you read it. And there's a whole series of Weetzie Bat books. In one of them, she has a child called Witch Baby, which I think is an incredible name. I am going to put this in What the Hell, sure. Then we have Perfume by Patrick Suskind. I've probably talked about this book before on this channel. If not, I have certainly talked about it often on my TikTok because it truly is one of my favorite books. This is about a weird little freak called Granui, and he is basically, I mean, he literally is a cave dweller, but he has an incredible sense of smell, and he will go to great lengths to create the best smelling perfume of all time. And he's in France, and it's the 1700s, and it's nasty. I wish that I had a good sense of smell. I don't, because my nose is all smashed up inside and I actually have a really terrible sense of smell. This book makes you envy the smellers of the world, let me tell you that. And I am going to put it in absolute literature. Yup. So we took a little break, I would say, from the depressing books, from the heartbreakers, from the sadness, from the void, capital V. We're gonna go back to that now and talk about The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. What a perfect book. How excellent. I know that this is a retelling, and perhaps not necessarily in some ways an accurate retelling of Achilles' story in the Iliad. I don't care. Make it gay. I think it was probably like originally gay, but I also think that they make Achilles especially to be a much better person, a much better character than he was in the Iliad and other writings from the time. I don't care. I don't care. Oh, he's a warmonger. Oh, he's this hyper aggressive man who killed women and children. That's my baby. That's my baby. So I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. La 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 la. I'm not listening. I'm not listening because I choose to romanticize this man and I choose to love this book. I mean, it's beautiful. Its writing is incredible and it will absolutely tear your heart to shreds. So it is absolute literature. Guys, we are on a final row. We're making it to the end of this list. And the next book that we have is Happy Place by Emily Henry. Random, club random. I really honestly, when I think about Emily Henry books, I might consider this to be one of my least favorites. But I think I put it in my 5-star ranking because I sobbed so violently after reading it, just laying on the floor in the fetal position, crying after I finished reading this. I'm gonna put it in perhaps not because yeah, it made me cry. Yeah, I had an extreme emotional reaction. I don't think that's enough to put it in the 5-star category like I did post reading it. Perhaps not. Now we have the next Junji Ito book on this list. It is the Tomi series, which was combined into one mega graphic novel. I love Tomi. I dressed up as Tomi for Halloween. She's kind of the blueprint. Like, she is that evil woman, and I love her for it. And if you want to read hundreds of pages of this evil woman destroying the lives of various men across Japan, check it out. It's really good. I'm gonna put this one in, well, yes. Now we have a collection of poetry called Not Me by Eileen Myles. I love Eileen Myles. I love her so much. I think that she is, well, wait, let me check the pronouns actually. Eileen Myles. Pronouns. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry to Eileen Myles. I love them so much. I love them so much. Eileen Myles identifies as non-binary. This is just an incredible collection of poetry. Look at this. Look how many poems I have bookmarked. I don't know, it's poetry. I have a hard time talking about poetry. It's good. It's good. All right. So trust me on it. And I am going to put it in, do I want to put it in absolute literature or well, yes? I think I'm going to put it in well, yes. Well, yes. Next, we have Bluets by Maggie Nelson. This is the #1 breakup book for me. I read this during a heartbreak period of my life, and therefore, I don't know if I can judge it accurately or I did judge it accurately because it was really speaking to what I was feeling in the moment. And I honestly can't remember enough of it to know if it would speak to me now. Anyways, Bluets though, I'm gonna put in perhaps not. Next, we have Homie by Danez Smith. This is another collection of poetry. I don't remember any of it. I really don't remember any of it. I really can't tell you anything about it. So I am going to put it in Who Is This Woman? because I don't know who she is. I don't know who Homie is. Then we have Slow Days, Fast Company by Eve Babbitt. I love Eve Babbitt. I think that she is just a fabulous writer. And I mean, I love Joan Didion too. And the two of them to me are like opposite sides of the coin. Eve Babbitt was 365 Party Girl before Charlie XCX, and her writing is just so succinct and her observations are just so spot on and relevant no matter when or where you are reading it. So I am going to put it in, I'm going to put it in Well, Yes. I'm going to put it in Well, Yes. Oh, next on this list is Slouching Towards Bethlehem by Joan Didion, the other side of the coin. Joan Didion, she had her Diet Cokes, she smoked her cigarettes, she experienced great tragedy in her life, she did that incredible ad for Celine, and I absolutely love her writing. I read Slouching Towards Bethlehem every few years or so, and so I can tell you with certainty that this is absolute literature. This is my favorite collection of essays, probably of all time. And now we have another Emily Henry. This time we have Book Lovers. This I would consider my true favorite. Like, this to me is truly the 5-star Emily Henry book for me. I absolutely love Nora as a character. I love that she is kind of the classic villain. If this was a Hallmark movie, she would be the big city, career-focused girlfriend opposition. I don't know how else to phrase that. She is the woman who gets dumped for the carefree, fun-loving, free-spirited actual protagonist. So I love having a story from her perspective, and I love having a romance from her perspective. Charlie is one of my favorite book boyfriends of all time. I imagine him as Logan Lerman, so that also helps things. And I also really love the dynamic between Nora and her sister. I love that in Emily Henry books, she doesn't just focus on the romance, and she also focuses a lot on the interpersonal relationships that the protagonist has with other people in her life, her friends, her parents, her sister. I think that it makes it a much more fulfilling and rewarding read. And yeah, I love this book so much. I'm gonna put it in Well, Yes. All right, we have another collection of poems. I read a lot of poetry. This is There Are Things More Beautiful Than Beyonce by Morgan Parker. It's hard. Like, I have a lot of 5-star poetry on this list, but a lot of it doesn't stay with me. I can't retain it because I guess it's not plot focused. It's just these individual snippets. So it's hard for me to rank them, and it's hard for me to tell if they are still 5-star reads. I would say this is probably a perhaps not, just because if it was truly a 5-star read, I think I would have more to say about it, but I don't. Okay, next we have Watchmen. I don't know who wrote Watchmen, actually. Everyone's mad at me right now. Who? Okay, Alan Moore. I knew it was an Alan, but like my brain just wanted to say Rickman. Watchmen by Alan Moore. This is a really good graphic novel. One of the best graphic novels ever created. I think probably people who read graphic novels would agree, I think. I don't know. I guess I don't really talk to a lot of people who read a ton of graphic novels, so I don't know if they would agree. I mean, you know Watchmen. You've either seen the series or you've watched the show or you've actually read the book or you've listened to My Chemical Romance's rendition of Desolation Row and watched that absolutely hot music video. I think I would put it in What the Hell, sure. Next, we have Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. This is a collection of essays, particularly about feminism and Black womanhood. Read it. I don't care who you are watching. Please read it. It's incredibly important. I mean, you can't really deny that. I'm going to put that in Well, Yes. Next, we have Susanna Clarke's Piranesi. I love Piranesi. It is truly one of my favorite books of all time. I can attest to that. And I'm not going to say anything about the plot because I think it's better if you go in knowing absolutely nothing. Just know that you're going to have a magical fun time, but you also might cry just a little teeny tiny bit. And it's going to go in absolute literature. All right. So the next one, I think I was kind of just having a silly, goofy time when I ranked this 5 stars, and that's Midnight Sun by Stephenie Meyer. I love reading this book because I'm trying to find it on my shelf. It's much bigger than Twilight. Edward was really ranting. He had a lot to say, and it was mostly so pretentious, so annoying. He was just rambling on and on about how nasty Bella looked. Literally, there are paragraphs in this book when he sees Bella for the first time where he's like, Yeah, her skin is like really sallow. Like it's way more sallow than a normal human's. And I can really see like the purple bags under her eyes. Like she's obviously very tired and like, I don't know, her hair, it's not shiny. It's really flat and drab and mousy. Like this girl's low-key ugly. This girl's like kind of uglier than all of her peers. And then as soon as he finds out that he can't read her mind, he's like, wait, is she beautiful? Is she the love of my life? Is she my soulmate? Is she better than every single person in this room? Is she better than anyone I've ever met? I think so. Because she's shrouded in mystery. He can't hear all of her dumb thoughts. He can't hear her awful takes on Wuthering Heights. And I love that. For fun, I thought I was gonna put it in What the Hell Sure, but I think I have to put it in Perhaps Not. And now we have Tomorrow, Tomorrow, and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin, another book that absolutely shattered me. I remember sitting in my parents' living room and reading The Scene, capital T, capital S, and just feeling so gobsmacked. It felt like the room was spinning. I mean, it holds up. It's that girl for a reason, basically. And I have to put it in absolute literature. Next, we have My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. If you just want to feel empty, if you have just read the Anthropocene Reviewed and you feel a renewed faith in humanity, if you want to lose it, read this book, because it is about an illicit relationship between a student and a teacher, and it just is a bummer. It hurts. It hurts to read, but it's extremely poignant. It's well written. Just go into it knowing that you're going to feel sad and you're going to feel uncomfortable. And I'm going to put it in, well, yes. Next, we have a book called Sex Museums by Jennifer Tybergsy. I'm actually going to go on Storygraph and read you the description because I think it's good for you to know what this is about, but I can't really succinctly describe it, you know? All museums are sex museums. In Sex Museums, Jennifer Tybergsy takes a hard look at the formation of Western sexuality, particularly how categories of sexual normalcy and perversity are formed, and asks what role museums have played in using display as a technique for disciplining sexuality. Most museum exhibits, she argues, assume that white, patriarchal heterosexuality and traditional structures of intimacy, gender, and race represent national sexual culture for their visitors. Sex Museums illuminates the history of such heteronormativity at most museums and proposes alternative approaches for the future of public display projects, while also offering the reader curatorial tactics, what she calls queer curatorship, for exhibiting diverse sexualities in the 21st century. Got all that? Got it? Okay. I read this for one of my gender and sexuality courses in college. My concentration was women's and gender studies, and I found this book endlessly fascinating. I feel like I was talking about certain anecdotes from this book to anyone who would listen for weeks on end after reading it. If you're into that sort of thing, I would recommend reading it, and I'm going to put it in a What the Hell Sure. Next up, we have Citizen by Claudia Rankine. This is another collection of poetry. This focuses on primarily the Black experience in America in the 21st century, specifically things like police brutality. I thought it was so good. It's just insightful, it's powerful, and I think I would put it in absolute literature. Okay, so now we have my favorite book of all time. Let's talk about my favorite book of all time. Let's say it together, because if you watch this channel, you know what it is. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. I know that actually this book is kind of polarizing and some people absolutely hate it. I'm one of those people that absolutely loves it. And I completely understand that Donna Tartt does not mean for you to like these characters. They are despicable. They are horrible. They're literally murder, and they care more about beauty and aesthetics than they do about their actual interpersonal relationships. I'm gonna go ahead and say I still love them. I'm sorry, like, bad take, maybe, probably, but I do. I love them. I mean, not all of them, but I love Henry. I love my boy Francis. I love Camilla. And I read this book every single year. I read it or I listen to it on audiobook. It's perfect. It stays perfect. So, absolute literature. Absolute number one literature of all time. Next, we have Surveys by Natasha Stagg. I really like Natasha Stagg's writing. She also has a collection of essays called Sleeveless that I really enjoy. This is a novel about a woman who becomes an influencer To be honest, I don't really remember more than that. Honestly, I don't know if there was much plot really happening anyways, if we're being real. One time I actually think that I went to the book party, the launch party, publication party for Sleeveless when that book came out. I was really intimidated because Natasha Stagg is very much like a cool girl and all of her friends are also cool girls. And it was like this literary party in Chinatown. You know, those things are always good to go to though, because there's always free wine. Always. Anyways, that's my little anecdote. I think I would put this in, because I mean, obviously it didn't stick with me. Realistically, I'm going to say perhaps not. The next book we have is Feed by Tommy Pico. When I tell you, I don't remember this at all. I'm going to look this up because I don't remember this at all. Feed by Tommy Pico. It's an epistolary recipe for the main character, a poem of nourishment, and a jaunty walk through New York's Highline Park with the lines, stanzas, paragraphs, dialogues, and registers approximating the park's cultivated gardens of wildness. Okay, did I write a review? What did I say? I just said with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 M's. I have to put this in Who is This Woman? I don't know who this woman is. And the final book of my 5-star tier ranking is Fun Home by Alison Bechdel. Classic queer literature. I mean, you know Alison Bechdel probably because she is the originator of the Bechdel test, but she also wrote an incredible graphic novel about growing up in a funeral home and her relationships with her family and friends and lovers. I'm going to put this in, well, yes. And so that is our 5-star tier list. I'm honestly pretty impressed. Most of these books held up in their rankings. They stayed winning. And that was kind of unexpected for me, especially because some of these books I read and logged as early as 2017. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you did, please like, comment, and subscribe. You can follow me on TikTok and Instagram as well. And I'll see you in the next video.